Now, what's the economic effect there? If you have your commerce sites hosted on some of those hosting providers without even you knowing, and your commerce sites are being blocked by some countries all over the world, then you won't be able to sell that much, of course. So it has different types of aspects, and you won't be able to realize basically that type of economic growth. So a couple of other things. If you've seen this ransomware, that's pretty clear. You can also not only buy guns here in Molenbeek, but you can also buy them online, so wherever you want. So it's just an opportunity there. That's also a huge economic potential, again, from the malicious side, but just pointing it out. There's quite a number of aspects in terms of mobile and in terms of privacy, but I'm just going to quickly go through a couple of those to indicate to you where the cyber security aspect is really targeting this maximizing economic growth potential that we have. In terms of the effectiveness on what can we do against it, let me just quickly go there. And that's basically things like this, for instance. We try to use data to identify security events, incidents. And we need those data to be able to do that. We need to be able to monitor systems and activities. And there you get into the discussion, the huge debate, security versus privacy, where to find, let's say, the interaction between those two, and where also to find the merging points. And only this morning on the news, I was listening to our Prime Minister here in Belgium, who was increasing, let's say, the necessity for law enforcement to be able to hack into computers and hack into basically systems from all of us to be able to identify potential terrorist threats. And to some extent that's normal, but it's going to face quite some challenges from the different privacy ministers. So I'm not sure how much debate they've had about this, but I think they cannot withstand anymore the pressure coming from the security needs. So if you take this into an operational side again, if an incident happens, you only have a couple of moments basically to react. But most companies, they don't even see that they are being hacked. And I think today the percentage is around 99.9% of companies that are seeing it basically too late. And too late is probably within an instance of probably half an hour. Because if you can see that things are happening in half an hour, then you can still probably do something against it. But in some cases, and many cases, you only saw that there's an incident that took place after a couple of months, after a couple of weeks, and in some cases even after a couple of years. So how to react against actually malicious incidents that took place where people actually got into your networks, stole your data, that's basically what it comes down to, or try to do something in your networks that you don't even know what they have been doing, putting that into context of a nuclear plant, and you can only see what's coming ahead of you. So maximizing economic growth with a potential terrorist threat or another environmental attack near to you is basically what we are facing. But as I was saying, we are actually looking for how can we be effective. So we need data to be effective. We need to be proactive. And so this is a message that we have been carrying along for some time. You need to be active in terms of proactiveness. Proactiveness means that you have to have tools and systems in place to be able to detect, but also to be able to act upon. And the acting upon means that, if you have to face an attack on a day-to-day basis, that's going to cost you. So you have to have the people in there, and you have to have the training of people to be able to cope with those attacks on a day-to-day basis. So be prepared. That's effectiveness rule number one from us, from the security industry. Number two is this capability. Make sure that you have people within your organizations. And I think also from a policy-making perspective, this is something that we need to do, is making sure that there is sufficient capability being developed, at least, because we don't have enough capability now. There is a larger demand and there is an offer today available in terms of cybersecurity people and experts. So we need to increase the capability levels, and even then, if we would be able to educate all people, if we are capable of hiring them and putting them in place, then still we won't be able to face the massive amount of activities that are happening today and are just, as I said before, increasing. So we need to find some other activities as well. On top, we need to do something about awareness creation. Probably you've heard that many times before. I've been in awareness creation for the last 13 years, and I can tell you it doesn't work. I can tell you here what it is that you need to do, and you go out and you find another thing to work upon, and you forgot about this awareness. Next to this, you're being taught about awareness on every corner of the street, being about public health, being about food, being about cybersecurity. Everywhere where you go, there's this awareness thing. That doesn't work anymore. From a policy perspective, we need to think about how to change an attitude and how to change behavior. That's a major thing that needs to happen. And that needs to happen on all different places, on financial instruments, on the way that we use mobile banking and mobile payments, as well as the way that we are actually doing to sanitize our own PCs, laptops, and networks at home. And then another element, and Mark is going to talk a little bit more about that, I hope, is about the since we don't have the capabilities and the people, we need to be able and also trustworthy enough to share intelligence. When you see a threat happening into your organization, share it and don't keep it just for yourself. Just let other people know what this incident has been, how it looked like, and how people actually can learn from this. Because this is the only way that we can actually fight those different threats. And then finally, and those are my 5 main points, is that we need to support innovation. Security and innovation are typically a very contrasting words for security people, at least. People in security are very risk averse. They don't like to take innovation and innovative technologies in. But the innovation is really where it comes from. And this is basically the only thing that's going to help creating this effectiveness towards the future.